Are you feeling overwhelmed by the thought of managing a loved one's estate after they pass? Dealing with probate can be an incredibly complex and stressful process, especially when it comes to handling estate assets and liabilities. In this video, we'll guide you step by step through everything you need to know: how to identify and value assets, handle debts and creditor claims, and ensure that everything is distributed according to the will or state laws. Whether you're an executor, a beneficiary, or simply navigating the probate process, we've got you covered. Let's simplify the complexities and give you the confidence to manage this process smoothly. Identifying and valuing estate assets. Identifying and valuing estate assets is a crucial step in the probate process. Executors and administrators of an estate must take inventory of all assets owned by the deceased individual to ensure an accurate distribution of the estate according to the will or state laws. 1. Identifying assets. The first step is to identify all assets owned by the deceased person. This includes real estate, bank accounts, investment accounts, retirement accounts, vehicles, personal belongings, business interests, and any other valuable possessions. Executors should gather all relevant documents such as deeds, titles, financial statements, and insurance policies to verify ownership. 2. Valuing assets. Once all assets have been identified, the next step is to determine their value. Valuation methods may vary depending on the type of asset. For real estate, an appraisal may be necessary to determine the fair market value. For financial assets such as stocks and bonds, the value is usually based on the market price on the date of death. Personal belongings like jewelry, artwork, and collectibles may require appraisal by a qualified professional. 3. Special considerations. Some assets may have unique valuation challenges. For example, closely held businesses or partnerships may require a business valuation expert to determine the fair market value. Retirement accounts and life insurance policies may have designated beneficiaries and pass outside of probate. It's important to carefully review each asset to ensure an accurate valuation. 4. Professional assistance. Executors and administrators may seek the assistance of professionals such as appraisers, accountants, or financial advisors to help with the valuation of complex assets. These experts can provide guidance on valuation methods and ensure compliance with legal requirements. 5. Recording and reporting. Once all assets have been identified and valued, the executor must compile a comprehensive inventory of the estate assets. This inventory will be submitted to the probate court for review and approval. Accuracy and transparency in reporting asset values are essential to avoid disputes among beneficiaries and ensure a smooth probate process. Identifying and valuing estate assets is a critical aspect of the probate process. Executors must meticulously document all assets, determine their value accurately, and seek professional assistance when needed to ensure a fair and timely distribution of the estate. By following these steps diligently, executors can navigate this aspect of probate with confidence and integrity. Addressing debts, liabilities, and creditor claims. Navigating the probate process involves addressing various financial obligations, including debts, liabilities, and creditor claims. It is essential to handle these matters carefully to ensure that the deceased person's estate is managed properly and that creditors are paid in accordance with the law. 1. Identifying debts and liabilities. The first step in addressing debts and liabilities is to identify and compile a comprehensive list of all outstanding debts owed by the deceased. This may include mortgage payments, credit card balances, personal loans, medical bills, and any other financial obligations. It is important to gather all relevant documentation, such as billing statements, loan agreements, and correspondence with creditors, to accurately assess the total amount owed. 2. Notifying creditors. Once the debts and liabilities have been identified, the next step is to notify creditors of the decedent's death. This notification should be made promptly to prevent any misunderstandings or delays in the probate process. Creditors typically have a limited amount of time to file claims against the estate, so it is important to provide them with the necessary information to facilitate the claims process. 3. Evaluating creditor claims. After notifying creditors, it is essential to carefully evaluate each claim to determine its validity and priority. Certain debts may take precedence over others, such as funeral expenses, taxes, and secured debts. It is crucial to follow the specific legal requirements for prioritizing and paying off debts to ensure that the estate is administered correctly. 4. Negotiating with creditors. In some cases, it may be necessary to negotiate with creditors to reach a settlement or payment plan that is acceptable to both parties. This may involve negotiating a reduced payment amount, extending the repayment period, or requesting a release of certain assets from the debt. Effective negotiation skills and a clear understanding of the probate laws are essential for achieving favorable outcomes in these discussions. 5. Paying off debts. Once creditor claims have been evaluated and negotiated, the next step is to pay off the debts using the assets of the estate. This process should be conducted in accordance with the legal requirements governing the distribution of assets in probate. It is important to prioritize debts based on their legal priority and ensure that all valid claims are satisfied before distributing the remaining assets to beneficiaries. Addressing debts, liabilities, and creditor claims is a critical aspect of navigating the probate process. By carefully identifying, notifying, evaluating, negotiating, and paying off debts, executors and administrators can effectively manage the financial obligations of the deceased person's estate and ensure a smooth administration of the probate proceedings. Distributing assets according to the will or state laws. Once all debts, taxes, and expenses have been settled, the next step in the probate process is distributing the remaining assets to the beneficiaries as outlined in the deceased individual's will or according to the laws of the state if there is no will. This stage requires careful attention to detail and adherence to legal requirements to ensure a fair and lawful distribution of assets. 1. Reviewing the will. The first step in distributing assets is to thoroughly review the deceased individual's will, if one exists. The will typically specifies how the assets should be distributed among the beneficiaries. It is crucial to verify the authenticity of the will and ensure that it meets all legal requirements. 2. Identifying beneficiaries. The executor of the estate must identify all beneficiaries named in the will. Beneficiaries may include family members, friends, charities, or other entities designated to receive a portion of the estate. 3. Valuing assets. Before distributing assets, it is essential to determine the value of each asset in the estate. This may involve appraising real estate, obtaining valuations for personal property, and assessing the value of financial accounts and investments. 4. Paying outstanding debts and taxes. Before distributing assets to beneficiaries, any outstanding debts, taxes, or expenses must be settled. This ensures that the beneficiaries receive their rightful share of the estate without any encumbrances. 5. Following legal procedures. The distribution of assets must comply with the legal requirements of the state where the probate is taking place. State laws govern the probate process and dictate how assets should be distributed in the absence of a valid will. 6. Executor's responsibilities. The executor of the estate plays a crucial role in overseeing the distribution of assets. They are responsible for ensuring that assets are distributed according to the terms of the will or state laws, keeping accurate records of the distribution process, and obtaining any necessary approvals from the court. 7. Communicating with beneficiaries. It is important for the executor to maintain clear communication with the beneficiaries throughout the asset distribution process. Transparency and timely updates help to avoid misunderstandings and disputes among the heirs. 8. Documenting the distribution. A detailed record of the asset distribution should be maintained, including receipts, acknowledgments from beneficiaries, and any other relevant documentation. This documentation serves as evidence that the assets were distributed in accordance with the will or state laws. 9. Finalizing the distribution. Once all assets have been distributed to the beneficiaries, the executor can seek approval from the court to close the estate. This typically involves filing a final account and a petition for discharge to formally close the probate process. Distributing assets according to the will or state laws is a critical aspect of the probate process that requires careful planning, adherence to legal requirements, and effective communication with beneficiaries. By following proper procedures and fulfilling obligations diligently, the executor can ensure a fair and smooth distribution of assets to the intended beneficiaries. Dealing with real estate, investments, and personal property. When navigating the probate process, one of the key aspects to address is the handling of the deceased individual's real estate, investments, and personal property. This section will provide you with a detailed guide on how to manage these assets effectively. 1. Real estate. 8. Assessment. The first step in dealing with real estate during probate is to assess the properties owned by the deceased. This includes determining the value of the properties and identifying any outstanding mortgages or liens. B. Valuation. It is essential to obtain an accurate appraisal of the real estate to establish its fair market value. This valuation will help determine the total estate value for probate purposes. C. Transfer. Depending on the probate laws in your jurisdiction, the real estate may need to be transferred to the beneficiaries through the probate process. This could involve selling the property or transferring ownership to the designated heirs. 2. Investments. A. Review. Compile a comprehensive list of all the investments held by the deceased, including stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and retirement accounts. Review the investment portfolio to understand its composition and value. B. Documentation. Gather all relevant documentation related to the investments, such as account statements, certificates, and beneficiary designations. This information will be crucial for transferring the investments to the rightful beneficiaries. C. Transfer. Depending on the type of investments and the estate planning measures in place, the process of transferring investment assets to beneficiaries may vary. Consult with a financial advisor or estate planning attorney to ensure a smooth transfer of investment assets. 3. Personal property. A. Inventory. Create an inventory of the deceased individual's personal property, including items such as furniture, jewelry, vehicles, and collectibles. This inventory will help in valuing the estate and distributing the personal property to the beneficiaries. B. Appraisal. For valuable personal property items, consider obtaining professional appraisals to determine their fair market value. This will ensure fair distribution among the beneficiaries and help prevent disputes. C. Distribution. Once the personal property has been appraised and valued, work with the executor or administrator of the estate to distribute the items according to the deceased individual's wishes or the laws of intestacy. Dealing with real estate, investments, and personal property during the probate process requires careful assessment, valuation, and transfer of assets. By following the steps outlined above and seeking guidance from legal and financial professionals, you can effectively manage these assets and ensure a smooth probate process. Strategies for managing estate taxes and other financial obligations. When navigating the probate process, one crucial aspect to consider is managing estate taxes and other financial obligations. Proper planning and strategic decisions can help minimize the impact of taxes and ensure that all financial responsibilities are met efficiently. Here are some key strategies to consider. Understand the tax implications. The first step in managing estate taxes is to understand the tax laws and regulations that apply to the specific circumstances of the estate. Different jurisdictions have varying rules regarding estate taxes, so it is essential to seek professional advice to ensure compliance and minimize tax liability. 2. Utilize tax advantage strategies. There are several tax advantage strategies that can help reduce the estate tax burden. These may include setting up trusts, gifting assets during one's lifetime, and structuring the estate in a way that takes advantage of available tax exemptions and deductions. 3. Stay organized and keep detailed records. Proper record keeping is essential when managing estate taxes and financial obligations. Maintaining detailed records of assets, liabilities, income, and expenses will help ensure that all tax filings are accurate and complete. 4. Consider liquidating assets. In some cases, it may be necessary to liquidate assets to cover estate taxes and other financial obligations. Careful consideration should be given to which assets to sell and when to sell them to maximize value and minimize tax consequences. 5. Engage with financial and legal professionals. Seeking the guidance of financial advisors, estate planning attorneys, and tax professionals can be invaluable when managing estate taxes. These experts can provide tailored advice based on the specific circumstances of the estate and help navigate complex tax laws. 6. Plan for future financial obligations. In addition to estate taxes, there may be other financial obligations that need to be addressed, such as outstanding debts, funeral expenses, and administrative costs. Creating a comprehensive financial plan that takes into account all these obligations is crucial for effective estate administration. By implementing these strategies and being proactive in managing estate taxes and financial obligations, executors and beneficiaries can ensure that the probate process proceeds smoothly and that the estate's assets are distributed in accordance with the decedent's wishes. As you can see, managing estate assets and liabilities doesn't have to be overwhelming. With the right approach and a clear understanding of the steps involved, you can navigate the probate process confidently and ensure your loved one's wishes are honored. Remember, you don't have to do it alone. Seeking professional guidance can help ease the burden and ensure everything is handled smoothly. By taking these steps, you're not only settling an estate, but preserving a legacy and providing peace of mind for those left behind. Thank you for watching, and remember, preparation today leads to smoother transitions tomorrow. Stay empowered and take charge of your estate planning journey.